you and I were talking a little bit about kind of like the exhibit house side and the supplier side, right? And I thought you had a really interesting take on it, which I think you should share. Because I think what I noticed at Exhibitor is you do have a section of younger event marketers that are there. They are learning, they are new, their teams are bringing them, which I encourage to the end of the earth at this point. I think the sooner you can get people in these jobs that are learning right away, the more results a company is going to get. But that comfortability of being able to go to a supplier that has a new technology and have a conversation, and that supplier saying, hey, like, I don't really sell to you directly. And
Right.
then what is that younger person? They're like, oh, okay. And it's just kind of what do they do? Whereas someone who's experienced is actually saying, well, hey, that's great. You know what I mean? It's a different conversation. So give us your take on that, because I think that's important for people to hear.
Yeah, and so because of my history in the industry, I've been to exhibitor show many times. I've been to shows of this nature that don't even exist anymore, and I have made a lot of connections. There are a lot of people that work at exhibit houses and different suppliers that I've known for literally decades. But one of the things that I kind of encountered a couple years ago when I attended the very first year I started as an exhibitor was I got a little bit of resistance when I would walk into certain suppliers' booths and want to talk to them. Their first question was, well, who's your exhibit house? Because
Mm.
a lot of their objectives are to connect with those exhibit houses, to have those collaborations that ultimately benefit me in the long run, because exhibit houses are able to offer the most up-to-date in design and different kind of technology. But I really felt this year it was a much more open forum. And one of the things that I would really encourage someone new to this, and I consider myself new on this side, is to gain that understanding of the materials, of the different opportunities out there for your booth design and for the elements you encourage. I think a lot of people in my position rely on their exhibit house as their one sole source of information, that what that designer is bringing you, what that exhibit house is bringing you is the best of the best. And if you've got a great relationship with them and you trust them, that's fantastic. But for me, I wanted to take ownership of it. And I wanted to walk into those places immediately knowing they're not going to sell to me directly, but being able to have an understanding of what they're bringing to the market and going back to my exhibit house and saying, hey, I had this great connection. A great example is Brumark. I do a lot of work in trying to make sure that our booth is as many sustainable materials as possible. Brumark is debuting a sustainable carpet this summer, and I absolutely intend to have that be part of my next booth design. Brumark can't sell to me directly. I've known James for a zillion years, but we had a great conversation. They put me on the launch list to make sure that I get all the materials as soon as they come out. And I'm just going to pass that along to my exhibit house. It's the same thing with my AV providers. I met with 5 of them because I'm trying to achieve something for NAB that my current suppliers can't do. They were all more than happy to talk to me and give me all the information I need. And I immediately connect them with my exhibit house and form this collaborative effort rather than being segmented away and not understanding really truly what's being done on my behalf. So I would encourage them.
I think it's interesting with what you're saying there, like those discussions that you're having with people. I would even encourage, because I know there's event, managers, marketers there that are looking for a new exhibit house or examining their exhibit house. We'll
Sure.
call it exhibit house.
I did 2 years ago.
If you were my client, right? I would argue with you that I wouldn't want you to bring me that stuff. I would want you to put me to the test, because
Yeah.
I should know that Brumark is now making sure that their carpets don't hit landfills, right?
Right.
I should understand when you say, hey, there's a technology problem I'm trying to solve. I should be going to A and B and C and say, hey, we have relationships there. So I would say, maybe for you, just as a little bit of advice, I would keep that a little close to the chest at times, right? And test them a little, see how resourceful they are, see if they're willing to go that extra step, that extra mile to bring in solutions. Then you might be able to ride in on your white horse and say, hey, I know you can't do this, but I know how to do this. I have a
Yeah.
contact for you.
A big part of it for me is the collaboration, though. I really feel that people in my position should be encouraged to collaborate with as many industry suppliers as possible. And it
Yep.
shouldn't be a gatekeeping situation. Like, we really need to educate ourselves and arm ourselves with that knowledge. Because for me, that actually, not so much with what my exhibit house thinks of that kind of interaction, but it reflects on my leadership very positively, that they know that I really understand what's out there and what the capabilities are. And I take that with me everywhere I go. Plus, you trade show project manager for 20 years, like there's no way I'm going to give that up. It's too much fun.
I love it.